to Cheryl's Home Cooking, and today I'm going to be canning peppers. I have my own garden, so I was growing my own peppers, so let me get out into the garden, pick my peppers, then I'll be back in the kitchen and I'll show you how to do my canning of peppers. Let's go in my greenhouse. I had a couple of kids come over here to the farm and they wanted to spruce this up a bit for me, so this is what they did for me. I think it's cute what they did. What I'll be doing now is I have my scissors, so now I'm going to be cutting some of my banana peppers. As you can see, I have an abundance of them. So I'm just cutting them off the top here and then I'll place them in my basket. It's great to have your own vegetables here to be able to can them. It helps save on the grocery bill. Hey guys, I'm back here. I'm filling up a second basket. There's just so many of these banana peppers, so I can't wait to get them canned. You can see how nice and big some of them are. I can't believe how many peppers are growing here hydroponically. So I'll see you in the kitchen once I get canning. I picked 2 full baskets of all these peppers. You'll see the banana peppers, purple peppers, and green peppers, so I can't wait to can these. So along with these peppers, what I'm also going to do is pick fresh dill. So I like to put the dill, and I also have garlic, and I'll be putting that in with my peppers as well. So nothing like fresh ingredients. And it smells so good. I know it's going to really taste good. See you in the kitchen. Now that I'm back in the kitchen with my peppers, what I did is I just rinsed them underneath the water in the sink because I don't use any pesticides. So this way here, everything's fresh, organic, and homegrown. I'm going to make a slit down the side for the whole peppers so that this way here my liquid, once it's canned, the liquid will absorb inside there rather than try to expand and make it larger than what it is, because I'll lose a lot of liquid in the cans. And for my banana rings, I'll be slicing them up. So the first thing what I do is I have 3 cups of white distilled vinegar. I'll place that in my pot. To the 3 cups of vinegar, I'll add 1 cup of water. I'm showing you a small batch. To that, I'll add a 1/2 cup of white sugar. And what I'll do is bring this to a boil, and then I'll let it simmer until I can get my peppers all straightened out. And before you get started, it's best if you prepare. So I prepared my canner with warm water. Once I place the cans inside my canner, then the water is already warm, so it won't take long to boil. I also have some water set aside here to put the lids in to sterilize the lids. And I have a pot back here to have extra hot water in case if I need to add more water in here, I don't have to wait for it to boil. I also placed my jars inside my dishwasher with the screw cap, so that this way here they're all sterilized and clean. So to the vinegar and the water, I'm going to add my sugar. Just mix it around and then bring it to a boil. While I'm waiting for this to come to a boil, I'll start on my peppers. So I'm going to be making whole peppers. So I'm going to leave the end on. I'll just cut it back a little bit. I'm going to leave the seeds in there. And I'm just going to make the slit. And you want to pack your jars kind of tight. And to these jars, what I'm going to be adding is 1 clove of garlic and some dill that I picked. And I'll be slicing up some jalapeno peppers, and I'll be putting that in too to kind of spice it up. Once I make the whole peppers, then I'll be making the banana ring peppers, so then I'll be slicing up my peppers. I also have a basket of mixed peppers. I'll be cutting them up and placing them in a jar as well. Once you cleaned up your green peppers and put the slit down them, make sure that you pack your jars tightly. So I'm trying to find any little ones and I'll fill in the space. So that looks about good. To this, I'm going to add some dill on the top along with a garlic clove, and I'm going to put some jalapeno peppers. I'll slice them up and put them in my jar. You can either put them on top or you can place them on the bottom. I'll show you both. So I'll cut the stems off of my dill. I'll place that in. I'm going to place about 3 sprigs of dill. Once I have my dill in there, I'll take my garlic place that on top. I'll also get a separate cutting board. I'll cut the tip off, and then I'm just going to make like little rings and place them in the jar right here. The reason why I'm putting in the jalapeno peppers is for flavor, along with the dill and the garlic. So just cut them into small rings. No need to take the seeds out. So I'm going to place about 4 jalapeno rings right on top. I'll put this off to the side, and then I'll keep repeating the process. So just make sure you keep them packed in here. Push them all the way down. You'll see once I place the hot liquid in here, the reason why I put the slit down the side of the peppers. I have my dill, my garlic, and the peppers packed in here, so I'll place some of my jalapenos on top. So I'm going to place about 4. I got 4 in each jar. I place my dill and my garlic on the bottom of this jar, and I'll place the jalapeno peppers right in the middle. So I'll put 5 in here because I got 1 small one. So it's normally just 4 in here that I put. And I'll pack the rest of the way with peppers. I pack it so that the water comes up to the bottom line. I made 3 quarts of the whole banana peppers. So I'm showing you 3 quart size jars of the whole peppers. And what I picked up is, it's the pickling crisp granules. To make them nice and crispy, I'm going to put 1 rounded 1/4 teaspoon in. So I'll place that on top before I put the hot liquid in. So just make sure it's rounded, about 1/4 teaspoon. Put that on top. This helps to keep the banana peppers crisp. I'll be placing my lids in my water to sterilize the tops. And now I'll take the brine off of my stove. Seems like a lot of work, but it's really well worth it. I know I'm ladling this in, but I'm going to place this on top just so I don't spill it all over. Once I had my brine boiling, I left it on my stove on simmer so that it's hot. So I want to place this brine in and put it to the bottom ring of the jar. And you want to take your tool, if you can see the bubbles coming out of the slits that I made. So you want to get all that air out. So I'll poke my tool down. Just to get all the air bubbles out. And I'll continue on to the other two. Once I have this all done, then I'll put my lids on it, screw the caps on, and I'll put it in a water bath for 10 minutes. You can see some of the air bubbles coming up. Before I put my lids on, just keep pressing down. You want to make sure all the air is out before you cap it. The peppers are filling up with the brine. That's why you're getting all the bubbles. I showed you in the beginning the small batch as far as 3 cups of vinegar to 1 cup of water to 1/2 cup of sugar and let it come to a boil. But in order to fill 3 of these quart jars, you actually have to triple the batch. As I push down on the peppers, you can see that the brine went down a little bit. So that's why you have to kind of triple this recipe in order to fulfill 3 quart-sized jars. So now I'll add more brine. And just fill it to the bottom of the ring. You can see it right here. Before I put my lids on that I have in my boiling water here to sterilize them, I want to wipe off the top. I'm using a clean rag. So I'll take my magnet. Place it on top. And tighten the screw cap. I have my water boiling in my pressure canner, so I'll take my lid off. I have my water boiling, so I'm going to place my jars and have a water bath for about 10 minutes. You want to make sure that the water comes up over the jars. That's why I had water boiling in the back. Okay, you can see that the water didn't come up over the jars. So I'm going to take my water that's already hot and add it to this so that it comes to about 1 inch over the jars. Once this comes to a boil, then wait 10 minutes. And then take your jars out, put them on a wire rack, and let them rest. Once you take your jars out of your water bath, let them rest on a wire rack for about 24 hours. So I'll place my lid back on. It's been 10 minutes that my peppers have been in the water bath, so I'm going to take them out and place them on my wire rack. And just let them rest for 24 hours before you do move them wherever you may store them, or if you'd like to put one in the refrigerator. You can see that these peppers, once they were in the water bath, they went to kind of the top of the jar. But once they rest for 24 hours, you'll see that they'll settle back down to the bottom and the jar will look full again. So just let them sit on your wire rack for 24 hours. And now I'll get back to my banana pepper rings. What I did is I put some in a food processor to show you. So it's up to you how thin you'd like them. This was in the food processor. And I just slice these up by hand. I kind of like them a little bit thicker, but it's your choice. I'll be doing my banana pepper rings the same way as I did my whole peppers. I'll be putting in garlic clove, dill, a jalapeno pepper, and I'll also be putting in 1/4 teaspoon of the crisp granules before I put in my hot liquid. Now I have my brine on my stove and I tripled the batch because I'll be doing 3-quart jars. So I'll place my banana rings in the jar. I'm going to put my garlic clove in the middle, along with about 3 sprigs of dill. And I'll put in a couple of jalapeno peppers. And I'll place with the rest of the banana rings. You want to pack down your banana peppers, and when you fill it up with the brine, make sure you fill it to the first ring right here. You want to make sure everything is under the brine. So I'll continue the same to the rest of the jars. And it's up to you if you want to put your garlic clove on the bottom, in the middle, or on the top. So I'll just put it on the bottom, put a couple of jalapenos, my dill, and then I'll fill it with the banana rings. Okay. Once I wash my hands off, I'm going to take a damp, clean towel and wipe off the ring of the jars, and then I'll put my lids on. I'll put them in my water bath for 10 minutes. Okay. Before I wipe off the rim of my jars, I'm going to put in 1/4 teaspoon of the crisp granules, so that this way here they stay nice and crispy. You can put like a rounded 1/4 teaspoonful. I'll put it on top. Make sure all your banana pepper rings are underneath the brine. So what I'm doing is just pushing it down. You want to make sure these rims are nice and clean before you put the lid on. Press down and then twist the cap on tight. Now I'll place my jars in my water bath for 10 minutes. I'll put the lid back on my pot and let it boil for 10 minutes. On my colored peppers, the purple ones, the green ones, and the yellow ones, what I'm going to do with these is cut them in quarters, and then I'll take the centers out. I'm using the same brine, the vinegar, the water, and the sugar. And I'll put a garlic clove and jalapeno peppers only in these. The reason why I love canning all these peppers is because in the wintertime, when I really can't go to the store, or if I just feel like a whim in making spaghetti sauce, I can just go into my cabinet, take out one of the jars that I canned of the peppers. I can add that to my meatballs. I can just add that to my sauce. Or if I'm making a chicken dish, I can also add these peppers too. And it's great just to have fresh peppers, knowing that you canned it yourself. So what I'm going to do is make sure that you pack them tightly. I think I can squish one more in there. I just heard one of my jars pop. So that means that it's sealed very well. And before I put my brine in there, I'm going to put a 1/4 teaspoon, a rounded one, of the crisp granules to help keep it crisp. So I'll just pour that on top.
Go ahead.
Once my brine comes to a boil, I'll place that in my peppers. Then I'll put my lid on and twist on the jar. I'll put it in my water bath for 10 minutes. I thank you so much for tuning into Home Cooking with Cheryl, and I hope you enjoyed my video on canning, and you're going to love these peppers once you can them. So thank you so much for tuning in, and please follow me on Facebook under Cheryl's Home Cooking, and follow me on Twitter on Home Cooking with C. I'll see you next video. Bye-bye.